Call regular monthly meeting of the Rockwood City Council to order. This time I'd like for you to ask you to stand for prayer by Mr. Eastman and remain standing, pledge the flag. Mr. Eastman.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for keeping us safe. We thank you for the sunshine. We thank you for the opportunity to live in this city and be part of it. Ask you, Lord, to give the council wisdom as they make decisions in the direction the city should go. Keep us safe. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
call roll.
Councilman Anderson.
Here.
Councilman Bryant. Councilwoman Evans. Here. Councilman Fuller.
Here.
Councilman Holloway.
Here.
Councilwoman Wilson. Here. Mayor Miller.
Here. All present except for Councilman Bryant, and we do have a quorum. You received the minutes from the January 25th, 2021 meeting. What's the will of the council? Got a motion by Councilman Holloway. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Evans. Discussion. Councilman Holloway. Councilwoman Evans?
No problem.
Anyone? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the ayes have it. Next item is presentation and approval of financials January 2021 financial reports and bank info. What's the will of the council? Motion by Councilman Flory be approved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Wilson. Councilman Fuller.
Turn it over to Ms. Ruthie.
Ms. Ruppy.
You have a copy of all the bank statements in your packet, and you have a copy of the summary financials and the reconciled checks for the month. In the general fund, as of January 31st, the ending balance was $923,599.75. Reserve and emergency was $346,094.82. TBA foundation funds, we had a balance of $448. Payroll fund, $872.11. Drug fund, $46,516.19. State Street aid, $174,398.82. The Smile Drug Fund had $807.54. Special revenue, which is our grants, had $290,950.54. Capital projects, $5,684.55. And that change in that bank account was what we paid for our paving, Mayor. And at the end, all the accounts together was $1,789,372.32. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. All the budgets are where they need to be this time of year. And Mayor Miller might talk some more about the revenues later in his report.
Anything further? Councilman Fuller.
No, sir.
Councilwoman Wilson.
No,
Do you
sir.
have anything? Anyone? Call roll. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go over something quick. I wanted to update you all on our revenues. There's one I'm a little concerned about. I'm hoping it does a lot better this week. But our property tax is about $104,000 below where it was at the same time last year. Now, when I saw that, I called Ms. Ruppy, and she said that is up through Thursday of last week. No, I'm sorry. That's as of all last week. We should be getting a lot today, and she said the girl that takes it up today was really busy. I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention. That bothers me a little bit. It's about a little over $104,000 short of where it was this same time last year. We collected about $473,000, a little over $473,000. Wanted to bring that to your attention. Local sales tax were up about $75,000 the same time as last year. State sales tax were up around $20,000. Golf charges were up around $24,000. Airport fuel were about $35,000, over $35,000 above where we were the same time last year. And hangar rent, we're up about almost 19,000. City court, we're down about 15,000, but we all know why that is, because we've not been able to have court. And state street aid, we're down about 20,000. I just wanted to bring those to y'all's attention. We're gonna keep a close eye on this property tax and see how, because the end date's when Sunday. So we should hopefully bring in a lot this week. I asked her about the people that had their property tax took out in their mortgage, and she said we are receiving that like we usually do, at a pretty high rate. So I thought maybe people, they were doing, but they try to get that 2%. So I just wanted to make y'all aware of that, because that bothers me a little bit. But we'll see where we are after this week, and then we'll have another update in March. Anything further? Call roll.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Evans,
Yes.
Councilman Fuller,
Yes.
Councilman Holloway,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is public comments. Anybody that'd like to address the mayor and council, this will be your opportunity. We ask that you stand and state your name and address. This will be the last time you'll be able to address the mayor and council unless a council member yields the floor to you. Anyone else? Anyone else? Oh, I'm sorry. I just overlooked you. You didn't have your hand raised all. Oh, now I see you. Go ahead. Would you please hold one of them things up? I want everybody to see them, because we've missed them the last 2 or 3 months.
I
Look,
know.
ain't that a pretty thing?
Okay. Color for, yeah, okay. I'm Kate Harris, and I live at 121 Bradshaw Hollow Road. Happily live there. Love it, love it. And we're the pool committee. And what I would like to do today, really quickly, is refresh the minds of the council and also to address our new councilwomen. Make sure that they know where we're coming from. The first reason that we feel the pool is so vitally important for Rockwood is for the elderly. I don't know where I came up with that as first, but for therapy and physical education, it is just wonderful. It is a wonderful, wonderful place. Even through COVID, people were there participating. Then for our youth and our swim team, they learn to swim, perfect exercise, out-of-school activity, that they are safely engaged in a positive activity. And then for our young adults, the ones that work at the pool, who are just marvelous young people, because we engage with all of them when we're there. They are structuring community involvement and having local employment. So the pool is so, so important. It's wonderful.
Would you please put that down?
Yes, yes,
You're making me nervous.
sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Anyone else? Okay, I want to address something with the pool. We have ordered, and we're waiting for it to come in, a brand new pump, $3,200, and the labor. As quick as it comes in, they will be installing it. We've ordered more matting to go around the outside where the concrete's busting up. We hope we've got enough in this buy to complete that, so we won't have to worry about that anymore, and we will be repainting when we get everything going to the bottom of the pool and all that. So, even though you haven't been here, we hadn't forgot about it. And if you don't want to come back, we're not, what?
What about diving board?
What about it?
Insurance recommends we remove it.
Yeah.
Did
If
they-
you'll notice, most people that put pools in now won't put one because insurance won't cover it. So we will probably remove it.
Okay.
All right?
Yes, thank you,
You're welcome.
council.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, council.
All right,
Really.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, anybody else got any public comments that we can make happen?
You want to borrow the noodle?
Committee reports from council. Do we have any tonight?
I'll talk
Yes,
a
ma'am.
little bit. For Parks and Rec, you've already touched on the swimming pool, so, basketball's going really well. Matt says that everything's going well, everybody's going by the rules. Baseball signups have started. Opening ceremony is gonna be Saturday, March 27th for baseball. They've got tournaments all throughout March every weekend. I think you've already touched on most of it.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Hey, that's
mean to,
okay.
but I knew if I didn't say something positive, I was gonna get hit.
And then for airport, I know we're gonna talk about that on the agenda tonight, but I just wanted to say that I hadn't been up there since I was a little bitty. And it's really nice up there. Becky took me up there last week and it's really nice. David and Duke have both done outstanding turning it around, so. I just
Good.
wanted to bring that up. That's all I got.
Anyone else? Okay. Old business, we have none. Moving on to new business, resolution 2164, resolution approving to move forward with design of airport projects. What this is that it's the grant's 95.5. So the 5% we can use the Federal CARES Act money, so we won't have to come up with any local money. So it's basically going to be the grant and the Federal CARES Act money, which was approved for the airport. This will be, as you saw on the resolution, it's got utility improvements. This basically, we're going to put a 6-inch line in place of that 2-inch line that we got now, so that we can put a fire hydrant and we'll have fire protection. That's part of it. Then we're going to design, this is the design for all this, design for a sewage package. Right now we've got an old septic tank in there since 1960. Medtrans has to get theirs pumped every week. And we just really, if we had another business like that come in, we'd have a hard time being able to help them. So if we can get this sewage package design done and we can get it done, then that'll help us in further growth. And the last thing is that they're going to do a new taxiway, a design for a new taxiway leading into Medtrans. Am I correct about that?
In that area.
In that area, and that way that will help us for future growth. And plus, they're going to do some site prep for a new building that we've been talking about if we decide to do a hangar or some type of building for somebody to rent. So that'll be part of this design package. So I wanted to let you know that. I know it's all wrote down there, but I wanted to go over it. So what's the will of the council on resolution 2164 to move forward with design for airport projects?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Holloway. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Evans. Councilman Holloway, do you have anything?
You discussed all of the pluses, Mayor, that's something we need to do.
Councilwoman Evans.
I tell you, that's one of my favorite places in the whole city, and it can bring in more revenue than anything that we have. And so the more improvements that we can make there, the better off we are.
Anyone else? Call the roll.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Evans,
Yes.
Councilman Fuller,
Yes.
Councilman Holloway,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is resolution 2165, a resolution approving hangar tenant electricity usage rate and billing. What David has done a tremendous job up there finding ways for us to save money. And what this recommendation is that we're putting meters on each one of these hangars. And they've agreed that if they go over a certain amount, that they will pay the difference, which will save us money in the long run. Some of them won't even meet their minimum, but some of them will. So it's just another way for us to bring some additional revenue in and make sure tenants are treated fair. What's the will of the council?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Fuller. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Evans. Councilman Fuller.
It's great they're keeping an eye on these kind of costs because they do creep up on you. And proud of the job they've been doing up there.
Councilwoman Evans.
Agree.
Anyone else? Call the roll.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Evans,
Yes.
Councilman Fuller,
Yes.
Councilman Holloway,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is budget amendments. You received those in your packet. There is, I think, 5 of them. This is cleanup. If we get a motion on the floor in a second, then we'll turn it over to Ms. Ruppy and let her explain them to you if you have any questions. We have a motion to approve all these budgets amendments together, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Holloway. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Anderson. Councilman Holloway.
Turn it over to Ms. Ruby.
Ms. Ruppy?
Budget amendment number 5 is we had an accident down on Pump House Road that knocked down our fence.
Right in front of
Right in front
Councilwoman
of
Evans.
Councilwoman
She was a witness.
And, her insurance paid to have that repaired, so that's putting that money back in the budget. The second one is COVID relief that we received, later in the year. We had already done one amendment for, $178,399. This is an additional $81,780, puts it in the budget. Capital projects, when we did all the paving recently, and we added on some down going to Tom Fuller, and we had to do some extra stuff on some of the side streets. With our own money, we need to move the complex ceiling that we never did, that was in that same budget. We need to move that down to paving, and I think we'll end up with about $6,000 or $7,000 left in that budget when we're through. The budget amendment number 8 is capital projects FEMA. That's where we got FEMA relief for the street department, from the storms in February of 2019, and we're just now getting it. So we'll be putting that back in his budget. Capital projects, the last one is the airport grant. This puts the ALP grant in the budget, and it also puts in the design, that you all discussed tonight, puts all those in the budget to move forward. And that's it.
Councilman Holloway, do you have any questions?
No.
Councilman Anderson?
Nothing.
Anyone? Call the roll.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Evans,
Yes.
Councilman Fuller,
Yes.
Councilman Holloway,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is city cell phone update. We appointed a committee of Councilman Anderson, Councilman Bryant, Ms. Ruppy, Chief Stinnett, and Chief Crabtree. And they've met, talked to them, and I think they've come up with a recommendation. And at this time, before we have any motions or anything, I think it would be appropriate for them to address what their recommendation is. You all have a spokesperson.
Do you have anything you want to add? We've talked about this for several months, and we've got, probably 10 or 12 maybe, police officers, different people that do not currently have a phone. And the reason they don't have a city phone is the type that we had, you can't get them anymore. They're outdated, and so in order to go to the new 5G phones, you have to have a new contract to move forward. So I talked to AT&T about FirstNet, and I think it was 2 months ago when we talked about how much that was gonna cost us. Bobby's had some issues with the service, but I think some of those things have been worked out, with the sheriff's department. But FirstNet is, I'm trying to describe the best way to describe it, is it's an ongoing program where the federal government is going to eventually someday get everybody under FirstNet, but it's not totally built out yet. It's just something in process. So one of the main things that we wanted to talk about was if we had a disaster, would we be able for our fire and our police and our public works to maintain their service when regular citizens cannot? Like if they get knocked off the tower, that our first responders have service when nobody else does. Well, that was only offered by AT&T. But when we talked to Verizon, he said and he talked to both chiefs about it, that if they will enter their phone numbers in the Homeland Security database, that they're automatically left on if other people are kicked off. So it's about 6 one way and half a dozen the other, about switching, except it's gonna cost more to go to AT&T on what they sent me. But they've since told Mr. Anderson that they would meet the price. If we stay with Verizon, we don't have to have like special approval. The only thing that it's really gonna cost more will be for every police officer to have a smartphone. It's gonna increase his budget more than anybody else's. His will be the biggest expense. And I think it's very much needed for them. They can use these phones for pictures, to use on crime scenes, car wrecks. Right now, a lot of them are using their own phones. And then if you get subpoenaed to court and your phone gets subpoenaed, it's really not fair for a police officer to have to take his personal phone and turn it over because he didn't have a city phone to use. So it's, I think it's very important. It's going to be quite a bit more expensive if every police officer gets a phone, but I don't know of any police department that everybody don't have a smartphone. I don't know that much about it. Mr. Anderson, I mean, do all y'all have smartphones issued by the county?
No, we don't have any issue by the county, we have our own.
You just use your own personal phone? So, I mean, it's whatever the council wants to do. We can always go to FirstNet later if Verizon's already our carrier. We already know what kind of service we get with them. We already know where the spots are that we don't have good service and all that, but it's just totally up to the council, but it was the committee's recommendation to stay with Verizon.
I would say, with AT&T, they sent me, one of the engineers sent me an email last week. He said it'd be 6 to 8 months before they could fix all the problems in this area, because they'd be putting up more towers. But he said it'd be 6 to 8 months before they could even start, so.
So the recommendation of the committee is that we go with Verizon, and we're probably talking about an additional $3,600 a year in the police department. Is that correct? In their annual budget for
In addition to what he already pays.
Yes. Okay. What's the will of the council? You've heard the recommendation of the committee. Stay with Verizon.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Holloway. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Wilson. Councilman Holloway.
I'm going on the recommendation of the committee.
Councilwoman Wilson, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Anyone? Call the roll.
I will say, I think it's month to month contract, so if we decide to go do something different, we can. There might be some kind of penalty, early payment penalty or something on the phones at some point, but it's a month to month thing, so I think if we decide to change, we can. Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Evans,
Yes.
Councilman Fuller,
Yes.
Councilman Holloway,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, and the ayes have it. Next item is comments. Councilman Fuller, do you have anything tonight?
Yes, I've been getting some complaints on the street lights going down Gateway. They're just not synchronized right. And people are getting a little frustrated.
Right, and they should be. That was brought up to me tonight, and then Ms. Rupi and I have talked about it. What's happened, correct me if I'm wrong, when they did the paving, they covered it up, some of them.
They cut up the loops that change the lights when you pull up.
I'm sorry?
They cut the loops up when they milled the street. They cut the loops, so that automatically throws the lights back to time. They stay at a certain time, whether there's traffic there or not, they stay at a certain time. And that sort of throws them all out of the way. So the only way we can fix that is have these people come in, they go through, they update all your traffic lights bars, put them in sync, stuff like that, time on them and all that kind of stuff.
They'll start it,
And they give us a price to come in and tell us what they will do, what they recommend, and then they'll give us a price of what it'll cost to do that.
but they'll get them in time. The first time they come, they'll try to get them in time for us.
It's actually something that's supposed to be done yearly.
And how much was that? You sent me that, was 30?
3,000 and something.
Yeah, it could be less than that. That was just a rough estimate, depending on the amount of lights we have and stuff.
And we're talking about just Gateway, correct?
Well, no, it'd be all the way from the Herman Light down Gateway and
Rockwood
the,
Street.
Rockwood
And
Street.
Rockwood Street?
Yes.
What they do is they study a flow of traffic, and they get every one of them going the way they need to go based on the amount of traffic.
They give us a report on the lights about, age on them, what you can get as far as parts for them, what you're gonna have to do later on in the year, what parts you need to keep in stock for them, all of that.
We could pay for that, I think.
Yeah. So we'll have you a full report, hopefully by the March meeting, okay?
That's great.
For everybody. Councilwoman Evans, do you have anything?
One thing I'm real proud of is our snow plow we got. It is a beauty. I'm glad we haven't had to use it yet. But if you haven't seen it, you need to, because it is a beauty.
And where did you say exactly that it needed to be used
Up
first?
on Ridge.
Ridge. You remember up on Ridge where that hill is?
That's the first hill.
Yeah. Anything further?
No.
Councilman Holloway?
Yes, Mayor, I've got, about a sheet of paper or so, I guess, to go over. You got a minute?
I got a minute, yeah.
I've been, looking through some of our, board meetings and packages we get, and I'd like to make a recommendation that all of our boards handle their meetings the same way as the city council handles theirs. And that's, they should use the city agenda and maybe the minutes for an example. And each board should have a chairperson and secretary to conduct the meetings. The chairperson should call the meeting to order and ask the secretary to call the roll. The members who are attending as well as absentees should be recorded. This is not being done on some of the minutes that I've gone through. If someone continues to not attend the meetings, maybe for 3 months or more, roll call should be asked to either resign or be replaced by someone who is willing to serve. And they get paid to serve on these boards. They get $50, a month to serve. And if they don't want to serve, then they should let someone else serve in their place. If you're out for 90 days or so due to sickness, we understand that. There's no problem with sickness or anything like that. The agenda should be voted on by having a motion and a second. Part of the motion and discussion of each item should be held. The roll call should be called with majority votes the winner. I've noticed in some of the boards, you just get somebody make a motion, nobody seconds it, there's no discussion. So that motion just made and they just go from there. So that needs to be correct to me, like we do here for council. If the board doesn't have someone to type the agenda, I'd like to ask Ms. Rubin if you could have our city clerk maybe type it for them. I know there's one board that has a little problem with that, so maybe I could get typed on one, take a few minutes to type that agenda or minutes for them. And the minutes need to be approved and signed by the chairperson and the secretary. Sometimes that's not being done. In order for the council to receive their reports on time, they shouldn't have to wait an extra month on them to be approved by board members. They should receive them in about a week after they hold their meetings. Then that report needs to go to Becky so she can get it into her package. And there's been occasions where there's not for wrong get back into our package. And that's just way too long to get it to us. The civil service board should also follow these guidelines, and their minutes could really affect the grievance or lawsuit. And good minutes and keeping up the minutes correctly can help our city attorney if we have to go to court or have any type of lawsuit. Of course, that would help on any board. If that board gets a lawsuit, it needs everything needs to be written down. So that's my recommendation to help all these boards operate more effectively. I don't have anything against any individual or any board. I just like to see it all the same. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Anderson?
Nothing.
Councilwoman Wilson?
No, sir.
Went over the financials, I just wanted you to be aware of that. Again, I want to thank David and Duke for the job that they've done at the airport. It's really turning around, and it's gonna be a great thing for our city. We've got a lot of department heads here tonight. Becky said I need to try to embarrass the ones I could. If you're a department head, would you please stand?
Harold, you're a department of one.
I want to tell you all what a great job you're doing for this city. And we do appreciate it. This whole council appreciates it, and this community appreciates it, and I want you to know that. And thank you for everything you've done. We do appreciate it. To the workers that are here, and I know there's a few, Linda and these three hammerheads here, I want to tell you, and her, I want to tell you, we appreciate what y'all done. What you're doing for this city means a lot to all of us. And most importantly, it means a lot to the citizens. And I know how hard y'all work and the job you do, and I know the abuse you take sometimes, but I want you to know from me and this council, we appreciate everything you've done for our city. Truly, I mean that. We appreciate everything you do. And just keep up the hard work. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
I think tonight's a good example of what's happened to this community with COVID. You look in this room and everyone in here, best I can tell, has got a mask on. And we're doing really, really well. We're doing really, really well. It's improving. But what I want to make sure everybody understands is, and I think Councilwoman Evans said this last month, we can't let up. We've got to stay like we are right now. And maybe we can get this behind us. Because we're doing so much better, so many more people are healthy, and that's the key, and I just want us to continue to stay after it. Don't get happy and think, well, we got her whooped now, because we hadn't got her whooped. I think I saw where there was, and it's way down, there's 24 people died in the state of Tennessee this month from COVID, down from about 135, I think it was, dying in that period of time. So I just want us to stay after it, but I'm so proud of the job we've done and our community's done. It's been really good, and it's really helped. So I want to thank them for that. Anything else I'm supposed to go over, Ms. Rupi, that I forgot? Again, I want to thank all the department heads and all the employees, and I want to thank this council for the hard work they put in. And Councilman Holloway will get with those boards some way through our council representatives or whatever to make sure that we try to do a better job on that.
Thank you.
Anything else needs to come before mayor and council? I hear a motion we adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Holloway. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Evans. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, and of course, there be none.